Hey, it's Dan here, and this is a video for the Elite Video Club, and I'm stoked about this because I've been working on this for about a year, and the title of this program is called, and it's DTM, we're really winging it here today just because I'm inspired by everything that's going on. This is called Sick by Design, Healthy by Nature. I could also entitle it, Who's Trying to Kill You and Why? We're gonna go over some cool stuff today. And what I've got, what makes this so very cool, this one, is down below this video, you will find approximately, 20, 25 links to documentaries, papers, videos, etc., that will give you a ton of material to go over while you're locked down in quarantine right now. And we're going to talk about that too, because that's the latest thing that's kind of come up. And I put this together, started putting this together long before this last, show, or, this last play by the globalists, the elite, whatever you want to call them. I don't think they're elite. Maybe we call them the self-appointed elite. So it's like, hey, chill out, Dan, don't try so hard. So because I'm used to the YouTube thing, and there's a lot over there about hurry up and get to the point and all that stuff, but I'd like to just be able to really chill out with you as an elite club member. I appreciate all of your messages. I try to answer as many of them as I can. I know I've got several more. But on this one, I just want to be able to lay back, chill out, be myself more, hang out, and just see what happens when I get in the zone. You know what happens. That's probably why you're here. People love it when I get into the zone. And if I can just get comfortable, relaxed, and feel like we're just chilling and flowing, that's when the best stuff starts coming through. So what I've got here, and you've probably heard me talk about a lot of this before, but we've got the answers. The answers are actually first on the outline. This is my little iPod. And I added a few things today just in light of the whole coronavirus pandemic. And my sensitivity button is sitting here going off. So I'm going to really try to open up, because on YouTube, everyone's so sensitive, because what happens is the media can really wash out a lot of people's consciousness. And they don't really have all the facts. Now, it is difficult more and more to get the facts. And now let's begin the program. Who's controlling the narrative? Who's been controlling it for a long time? The pharmaceutical companies. Rockefeller in 1902 joined with the Carnegie Foundation. We've seen a diminishment in herbology, naturopathy, all natural types of medicines, homeopathy, orthopathy. Anything that was more natural for human beings has been, cast aside, so that Rockefeller and the pharmaceutical cartel can just sell pills, surgeries, and invasive procedures. For example, and we'll go over that here in a minute, but one of the biggest ones is the cancer scam. How they say, oh, chemotherapy and radiation is the best science we've got. Well, that's bullcrap, because for 100 years, 118 years, they've suppressed or done a very good job at suppressing the Hoxsey cure. And he fought like hell to get that out there, but he had a very high success rate. We had the Essiac cure, and that had a huge success rate. We had the German fella and his daughter, their name is I'm missing their name at this moment. It'll pop into my head in a second. But we've had, and then we've had, since then, we've had several other, we've got the Brzezinski, and I've got a, I can slow down and calm down. I'm used to going into YouTube mode and that type of thing. So, I'm trying to remember the name. I should easily remember that. But we had the Brzezinski because he had a high success rate with his treatment, and he was getting a lot of success. But then the FDA and the criminal pharmaceutical organizations, they ended up stealing it from him, really. But he was helping people, and he was helping children, and he was helping adults, and they just didn't want some regular Joe Schmo who was actually really brilliant, who's actually still with us. But they always have to suppress and quash everyone's work so that the word doesn't get out that there are actual natural ways to heal yourself from cancer. So that's just one example. So I'll just go through all the different documentaries here as my outline. So this is a fluoride documentary, and they've been pushing this for a long time. And you probably already are well aware that fluoride, not only does it create a more permeable barrier all throughout your entire body, but mostly you'll see it in the brain, where fluoride will allow different other metallic elements and toxins to cross the blood-brain barrier, or all of these other barriers in the gastrointestinal tract, the epithelium, and then there is a blood-brain barrier where the fluoride weakens that barrier and allows for different metals and toxins to pass through. And we see nowadays all these metals that have been injected into us and sprayed on us from the sky and in our food and water and air supply are really accumulating in the tissues. And that's why we're seeing now that we're being exposed to all this radiation, which makes me want to put this down, even though this is an iPod, but I do have, actually there is, I am picking up a signal here. Over here in my house, this part of the house, there's no signal. But over there is where, out in the hallway there is where the radiation is. So what I'm actually going to do myself in the next couple of days, and I've decided all this because I've been doing more research on the 5G and the 3G and the 4G. But then I'm going to move my bed out here and make the entertainment, which I have a TV, and if I have company or whatever, I'll watch a Netflix or something like that. But I'm going to move the entertainment and the electronics in that room, and then out here will be the safety zone. Although I see that I've got, let me see what's going on here. I usually don't have service way over here. But okay, so my Spectrum Wi-Fi 2G is all the way reaching to this place. But it's only one bar. And in the room, it's all 3 full bars. And then there's an office downstairs, which has their own Wi-Fi as well. So that room over there is kind of like the Wi-Fi room. And I'm really trying to get away from it. That's why I like to spend as much time as I can outside, away from the radiation. Can you dig it? So the fluoride documentary here is, I won't even try to remember how long each one of these is or what the exact information is inside. I just took all my favorite ones over the years and put them down in this notes, and then designed this program, sick by design, healthy by nature, because we are not allowed to talk about health. And we're seeing that more and more. I mean, the censorship is blatant now. They've trained us over the years. Now it's like, nope, we will not have anything that says anything about vaccines. We can't say anything about cancer. We can't say anything about COVID-19. They want to control the narrative. Who is they? Well, I don't know them personally, but I've seen it all my life. And I know that there's an agenda to diminish human health and basically, in my opinion, enslave everyone, really. And we're starting to see that more and more. And I think that if you're over here already, you're probably, you jumped on this right away. And this thing's going to build up, and I'm hopefully going to get it up to 300 people, and then I'll be able to devote all my time to the Elite Video Club and just do some kick butt videos, and then use YouTube as just to monetize this Elite Video Club. But the fluoride documentary, it's like the fluoride in the water. So the water distiller is a brilliant idea, and I think that's somewhere in here in the answers. But Basically, you're trying to use, if you can, I don't want to overwhelm you, but these are long-term things, but if you can, you get a Sprite filter for your shower, and that can diminish a large percentage of the fluoride and the chlorine that comes through. It's a carbon filter. And of course you have to change those about every 6 months, but whatever, it's like 30 or 40 bucks. So it's no big deal, but it can really diminish your exposure to fluoride in the lungs. And fluoride is in the water at restaurants, it's in the soup, they use it to cook the vegetables, whatever. So that's why I don't like to really eat out. And I like to drink distilled water, and I like to use fresh fruits and vegetables, organic obviously, for my hydration. Can you dig it? So there's some tips. So the fluoride documentary, check that out and see this push, and any resistance from us as individuals, parents, mothers, teachers, eventually they just keep pushing until our resistance is down. And now you see the fluoride working, because Hitler used fluoride to make people more suggestible, to make them more weak-minded by actually softening the pineal gland through the presence of the calcium deposits, or the deposits of buildup of fluoride all through the body, but also being very attractive to the pineal gland, which is a very firm gland when it's healthy, and gets loose and weak, and blood flow is diminished via the microcapillary occlusion to the watershed areas in the brain due to, the injections of the vaccines. And I keep forgetting that this is the Elite Video Club and I can speak openly, which I'm very much trained like a little Pavlovian dog here to only speak, what is appropriate on my YouTube channel and stuff. So they've got me trained pretty well. You got to hand it to them. And it really sucks because they have an agenda, and it is not human health. I believe that we can agree on. Some people, they don't want to agree with me on everything, and I'm not saying I have all the facts and all the details about everything. I mean, I'm learning all the time, just like you are. But I put this together. This is all DTM approved stuff. So there's the fluoride documentary, number one. Number two, Monsanto glyphosate cancer documentary. Again, they're still spraying this crap on our food, and a lot of people are like, no, organic food's no better, and pesticides are no big deal. Well, the glyphosate is huge, because that is causing leaky gut, and that's why so many people had problems with the vegan diet, But if you eat whole, organic vegan foods, mostly raw is the best, and we'll get into that, then you're not gonna have high levels of exposure to the glyphosate, which is huge. So check out the Monsanto glyphosate cancer documentary and put the puzzle pieces together on that. That's very illuminating. The Truth About Vaccines documentary. I am 1,000,000% opposed to vaccines all the way across the board. I don't even listen to people that are like, we need safe vaccines. The reason why? Vaccines don't grow on trees, and no scientist in a white lab coat is ever going to be able to figure out the infinite intelligence of our Creator, and we are never going to be able to mimic nature in a laboratory. It doesn't matter how sophisticated we get, 5,000 years from now, it's not going to happen. My trust is in the simplicity of nature, not in these fools with their money-making scheme and their depopulation plan, which is sickness by design, healthy by nature. Nature, calm, fresh air, sunshine, pure water. Amazing medicine. Is that ever promoted? No. Are they promoting boosting your immune system during this COVID-19 pandemic? It's just laid out right there for you. Oh, Billy Gates and all this other stuff. And there's some documentaries in here that are brand new that's going to reveal some facts for you too. The Truth About Vaccines. It's ridiculous. They don't help. They never will. Shooting fluoride, aluminum, DNA fragments, squalene, formaldehyde, and aborted baby fetuses, no. It's just really not going to work. And you'll see within there why vaccines are so bad. And they have eliminated everyone who had scientific research to prove that vaccines caused autism. Andrew Wakefield, 1998, he's the poster child for don't F with us or this is what'll happen. He'll be a hero one day. Because now research labs all around the world are pointing out what he pointed out in 1998 was that in these children with autism, there is gut dysbiosis, inflammation in the gut, and now so they're correlating dysbiosis in the gut to autism, you know? And so when you have dysbiosis, your immune system doesn't work as well, and we're gonna have dysbiosis because of the glyphosate, because of the chemicals, because of the cesarean section, because of the formula fed, because of the vaccines. So we're gonna see diminished immunity because we're gonna see gut dysbiosis because of the modern food supply. And you know, white sugar, white flour, fiberless foods, fried foods. And so the diversity's not there, so the communication isn't there between all the microbes that keep you healthy, the beneficial bacteria. The truth about vaccines. People are still pro-vaccines. Can I speak plainly between you and me? I want to say it because I will never probably say this on a YouTube video, but pro-vaccine people are just dumb. They're just brainwashed, and hopefully you're not one of them. I don't mean to offend, but vaccines don't work. They never have. They never will. I can't say they never will because there is some potential there of, sophisticatingly working with natural immunity in the gut. But right now what they've got with these toxic chemicals and all of the constant suppression of any information that goes against, science is settled, that is a cop-out, and that is bullcrap. And you know it's true. So when they say the science is settled, they've got something to hide because science is never settled. And they're talking about we have to keep misinformation about the COVID-19 from making it to Facebook. Now Zuckerberg's joined with Bill Gates. Wonderful, because he wants to follow in his steps. Philanthropy as a business model. They invest $100 million on the front end in these new cures to help people all around the world, but then on the back end, when their investments go through, they make billions of dollars on the vaccines that if we don't be careful and wake up, they're gonna be mandatory and we're gonna be fooked. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not gonna be able to fly, we're not gonna be able to get a job, we're not gonna be able to get groceries if their plan goes through. And so if the humanity doesn't wake up and all these people that are like, vaccines are wonderful, I've been totally brainwashed, So there is a great book, Dissolving Illusions. So if you really want to read a great book about, all the bull crap surrounding vaccines, Dissolving Illusions by Susan Humphrey. She is a genius. She found out about it because she was a nephrologist. And she was like, all my patients that are getting the flu shot are getting kidney congestion and are getting diseases. So she followed the rabbit hole down. And of course, she's no longer able to work in any accredited institutions, and she went out on her own and she went rogue, and she's been up against the vaccines ever since. That's Susan Humphrey. She'll be in a couple of these documentaries for sure. So educate yourself on that. These documentaries are going to give you a ton of information. They're all DTM approved, all DTM watched, and I've watched some of them a couple of times because I like to expose myself to the information, keep my mind on track. So we're going to be detoxifying these vaccines for generations to come. And we're going to find out it was the most sinister play against humanity ever. The Truth About Cancer, number 1, is that's by Ty Bollinger. So watch that. Truth About Cancer, number 2. Cancer Cure Cover-Up. I believe that's the one with Brzezinski where he was getting a lot of results. And, they just continually shut him down, and the patients went to Congress and they were like, please, my son is dying. Please let him have this. When he's on this therapy, he's well. When you take away the therapy, he gets sick again. Please let him have this therapy. And that's how cold and sick these psychopaths are. They don't want anyone or anything cutting into their profits and their larger agenda to ensicken and enslave humanity with sickness and disease. Cancer cure cover-up, chemtrails and aluminum detox. I believe that one is Dietrich Klinghardt, Dr. Klinghardt, who's a genius. Once you get exposed to him, you're going to want to go and find out more, because he's a brilliant genius truth teller, and that I believe is with Dane Wigington, who runs geoengineering.com, and that's also a YouTube channel, and there's a video, a documentary here, or just one of his weekly broadcasts that I entitled "At the End of the World," because he's trying to sound the alarm. This is unsustainable. It's not possible for us to continue to spray the skies and survive for any length of time on this planet. Aluminum and Autism. That is a great documentary. You need to look into that. Christopher Hexley has been studying aluminum for 30 years, and he had a chance to autopsy 12 children with autism, and he said that the aluminum levels in these autistic children was off the charts. Was his information suppressed? But of course. Was his funding taken away? Of course it was. Why? Because the last thing that these fools want is for us to know the truth about anything. So thankfully we've got this little platform right here where we can continue to share the truth. So you can get educated, you can get all these that they can't suppress everything, but they're doing an incredible job right now on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is really tightened up their ship. And I've seen that in my own experiences with the way I got to play the game real tight to keep my channel going here. Psychiatric drugs, not really my area of expertise, but looking at the insanity of the psychotropic drug industry and how they know that it makes most people worse. Everyone that goes on a school shooting is on those drugs. So here's another one, vaccines killing babies, My nephew died of sudden infant death syndrome 1 day after vaccination. That's happening all day, every day around the world. More children are dying from sudden infant death syndrome today than COVID-19 by far, but where's the outrage? More people are dying of flu. More people are dying of car accidents, cancer, heart disease, but they got that as a market. This COVID-19 thing, although some people are dying, they're all immune compromised. Everyone says, well, no, my husband was healthy. Well, no, he was 40 pounds overweight and he ate cheeseburgers. And just because he jogged a couple times a week and wasn't dying or wasn't diagnosed with a chronic degenerative disease, we're talking about let's get healthy. So most of humanity is walking around with a good solid layer of sludge, slime, and inimical toxic substances, which are food to really weaken the immune system, to weaken cellular integrity, and then give those viruses a chance to invade the cells and replicate themselves. But if you're healthy, they can't even touch you. We're swimming in a sea of viruses. We have millions of viruses inside of us. We have, the last numbers, 380 billion viral fragments living inside of us. So far more viruses than even the bacteria, which at last estimate, again, are 10 times more than we have cells in our body. So we are it's amazing how the rapid evolution of knowledge. But basically, 99.9% of these bacteria and viruses are completely harmless unless you have a compromised immune system. We'll talk about that some more. So psychiatric drugs, I see these people promoting GMOs, promoting pesticides, and these are influencers on YouTube, and then talking about, I'm on the latest, greatest pharmaceutical drug, and people can't see that these vegan YouTubers are like zombies. They're totally sleepwalking. Raw fruit that's too extreme. Eat these big bowls of vegan diarrhea. It's like, oh, Lord have mercy. I'm on the newest drug. GMOs are safe and effective. Pesticides are safe and effective. Oh, by the way, for all my viewers, I'm trying a new drug for my depression. Why are you depressed? Because leaky gut leads to leaky brain, leads to inflammation, leads to depression. Now you're on drugs that make you crazy and put your brain to sleep and numb you out so that you can't feel anything. You want to stay awake, alive, and alert. in this day and age, and it's getting harder and harder with these fools coming down on us. Can you dig it? Vaccines killing babies, man. That one is, you got to be sick. These fools are sick, man. Sick by design. Can you dig it? Breastfed versus formula fed and vaccines. Now that's going to be huge. Obviously, a breastfed child is going to have way more immunity because the immunity comes through the colostrum in the first days of birth to inoculate. So there's vaginal birth. That's the first inoculation of the microbiome of the mother. And then you get the microbiology through the breast milk, which has a lot of immune boosting factors, and it's an inoculation of the gut so that, boom, that's the foundation. I believe we're going to find out that the fetus is already in the process of developing its immune system and its microbiology in the womb, but there's not much information on that right now. I'm going to have to look into that, as a matter of fact. But you know, they thought that there was sterilization as the baby was born, and then the inoculation and the breast milk, and then the immediate environment with all these crazy ass nurses, fluoride, smacking the baby, and these crazy ass fools with all their shots and chemicals and stuff on these hard beds, and then they cut the penis. I mean, we are sick. Birth is not a medical procedure, it is a natural procedure, but the sicker that we get, because of the influences of the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors and the American Medical Association, they're just not trained, they just don't know. So there's a certain amount of innocence coupled with the ignorance of what's really real with nature and life. And the doctors have no training in life. They have training in drugs and things like that. So I'm not saying all doctors are bad, all nurses are bad. I'm just saying that their training keeps them very limited. And if people were naturally healthy, living natural lives close to the earth, keeping their immune system strong, staying close to nature, fresh air, sunshine, and minimizing all the inimical substances and chemicals, which are everywhere, we're swimming in a sea of them, in our food, air, and water, then you would just poof, the baby would be pop out no problem. We wouldn't need IVF therapy, and people could still reproduce. But right now, people aren't even able to reproduce because of the attack. And I don't even know if I put that in here. I might have. I hope I did. We're leaving off at breastfed versus formula fed. Let me see if I got the. Okay, I thought that okay, maybe I didn't. I'm gonna have to put that on the next one. But these fools, with their intentional chemicals that was when I was gonna put it on here and I forgot because I was out and about and I was listening to this podcast about anti-fertility chemicals in the food supplies. So we have to be very careful. That's why I'm super blessed, because all my food comes from right off the source. Coconuts, oranges right off the tree, bananas right off the tree, avocados right off the tree, macadamia nuts, local. I use organic almonds as one of my main food sources. I think you can even see out of the corner of the camera here my whole end of the world stash. I hope I never have to eat any of it except for maybe some of the berries and some of the supplements. I got some mushrooms and stuff like that. Maybe I'll do that video for the next month's masterclass or something. Here's all my survival food that I hope I never have to eat, except there's raisins and olives and mac nuts and goji berries and mung beans and things like that. So a lot of it's actually really decent. I like the fresh, high water foods. But the anti-fertility chemicals is a big deal, and they're using that, and it's chemicals, and it's not an accident. None of this is an accident. The COVID-19 is not an accident. 911 wasn't an accident. Nothing's been an accident for 100 years. Since the Industrial Revolution, they've been controlling everything, and probably before that, but my area of expertise starts in 1902. The Rockefeller and the great hostile takeover of natural health. And that's why you never see anything about true fasting anymore, or raw foods, or healing and detoxification using nutraceuticals and herbology and naturopathy. Your body heals itself. Get the heck out of the way. But when these fools are coming up on here with all these antivirals and stuff, I bet you'll find out later on, but I bet you a lot of these people that are being counted as COVID-19 deaths are actually iatrogenic disease, which is where the doctor comes in and causes harm with all his drugs and chemicals, and everyone's paranoid and delusional when the dude should go home, get some fresh air, rest, get a foot massage, maybe drink some herbal tea, take some antivirals, some nutraceuticals, get a colonic, get a massage, relax, heal, and let your immune system build itself up instead of always attacking it with all these chemicals and crap. Breastfed versus formula fed, and vaccines. And so obviously that was a great documentary. I was really glad to find that. Breastfed babies are way better off and do such a better job of detoxifying all the chemicals in the vaccines. Okay, next we have 5G wireless dangers. This is coming down the pipeline, but I actually added a couple more of these to this already, because 5G is coming down the pipeline, and that is one of the agendas that's getting pushed through the stimulus package right now. It's got in there, we get to roll out our 5G. We pay you to roll out our 5G and then fry you and cook you and make it so you can't breathe, because the 5G is going to inhibit the blood's ability to utilize hemoglobin. We're going to see a lot of lung issues, cardiovascular issues, brain damage and inflammation from the 5G wireless, which is being put in schools right now as we speak. Wow, we're all in quarantine going, wait a minute, what's the real facts? And then you see these videos and this nurse is like, oh my God, we're overrun. And there's like 4 people in beds and like 2 doctors for each person. And you're like, okay, wait a minute here. When I talk about overrun, I want like kids and babies laying on top of each other, people screaming and crying, blood, I want to see tons of people in the hospital and doctors running around frantic, but no, they're like, we're overran, and it's this huge drama thing. And it's like, we don't have the supplies we need, and they've got full suits, and there's like 4 or 5 patients in the room. And you're just going, wait a minute, this isn't like the movies where everyone's crawling all over each other, people in the corner dying, crying and stuff like that. That is chaos. What they're used to in these American hospitals is like 4 doctors for each patient. And, every patient gets, their own box of Q-tips and stuff like that. It's like, and so they don't even remember the days of the military when it's like, oh my God, there's like 4 doctors and 500 soldiers bleeding to death. That is chaos. So a lot of this is hyped up, and I'm not going to be insensitive, and I'm not saying there isn't a pandemic and that this virus isn't spreading. I'm just saying that we're going to find out the facts, and usually it's all a big illusion. They fudged the numbers on the vaccines, the polio thing, fudging numbers. Everyone got the polio from the goddamn vaccine. Most of the cases of the polio were caused by the DDT. They didn't want you to know that. It's like, come on, guys. And when you put all this together and you become a researcher, you come to the conclusion that they do not have your best interest at heart. They never have, and there's a likelihood they never will. That we need to somehow, I don't know how, take back the power. The power is to take all the resources we've got to care for ourselves. We've got water distillers. We've still got farmers growing real decent food. We can let go of all the junk food and all the restaurant food with fluoridated water in the soup to make the dressings. You understand what I'm saying? And the chemicals and the preservatives and the low quality of, care for the food. These are chefs. They have a job. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm DTM. The food that I make is top tier, highest level. Everything is fresh. No little bad piece of nothing gets to go on there. It's like if the avocado is rotten, I either cut that part off or even toss the whole thing out. You know what I'm saying? So it's a matter of, and when you're at home, you are the one who's like, that carrot is moldy or it's bad or whatever, and you toss it out. Or this whatever food, it's unfresh. This kale is like really wilted, and the restaurant will throw that in and cook it up. Well, you'll be like, this kale's been sitting in my fridge for 5 days. Unfortunately, I didn't get to it, and it's just got to go to the compost pile because it's just wilted. And you're just like, I'm just not, you know what I'm saying? You know, so, and then there's just various degrees of that, of, oh, this low quality salt, or this crappy dressing, or these low quality oils, or these rancid foods that are just rancid oils sitting around in a restaurant, low quality, using different types of solvents to extract them. And you're just like, no, I'm gonna have organic extra virgin olive oil, organic extra virgin coconut oil. I'm gonna use avocados. I'm gonna soak fresh nuts and seeds so I'm not getting rancid fats. At the restaurant, you think you're gonna get that? No, you're gonna get Crisco from the Cisco food company that has these huge white trucks that delivers food to the schools and to all the restaurants. And you're gonna get nasty stuff that shouldn't belong in your body. That's going to leave the residues behind, and that's where you're going to start to have different kinds of diseases, blockages of the lymph, blockages of the blood, and then of course sugar and flour and junk food and fried foods, where all of these microorganisms that are they're not necessarily unfavorable unless the conditions allow them to proliferate beyond a balance. So you eat chocolate cake, or you eat too much bread for a few weeks during the summer, you get a little candida, but then you go back and it's whatever, the winter's over, and now you're back on the spring herbs, and then the candida, you know, as you're eating more of these spring herbs, it diminishes and goes away and goes back to the level that it should, just in case you eat processed white bread carbs again and sugar. But if you're always eating those constant white breads and sugars, you're going to have the candida all the time. You're going to crave more of those foods. That's why you just kill them suckers with whatever herbs or enzymes that you've got to diminish that explosion of those microorganisms that, you know, they're not bad. They're just there out of balance because your eating is out of balance and out of accord with nature. That's why the raw food rocks. 5G wireless dangers, 5G problems and solutions. That is a really good one, so check that out. 5G documentary, The True Cost of Autism. I mean, they'll deny it till the cows come home. They have a racket that they've got to cover over, and they don't want anyone knowing the truth about anything. So you've got to protect yourself and your kids, and we got to figure out how the hell we're going to make it through this barrage, because the majority of people are so easily manipulated because of the fluoride, which allows for you to be mentally manipulated. And they are masters of manipulation. So if you're like me and you're just a rogue spirit, you're like, I'm not listening to nothing. I don't believe you. I'm going to see with my own eyes. And since I knew it was all a conspiracy since way back, I just look at everything and I scrutinize and I see what they're doing. A lot of people don't. They're like, no, the CDC, the FDA, those are governmental regulatory agencies that truly care. They would never do that to us. And that's where they get their official information, the official narrative. And then Facebook and Google and YouTube are like, this is misinformation. But actually, it's just missed information. This is the real truth about what causes autism. This is the real truth about what vaccines are doing now and have been doing for hundreds of years, causing massive amounts of damage and saturating our bodies with toxic chemicals, making us sick, so that we can be a customer for life for the Rockefeller who had a desire to use the leftover petroleum products to create these pharmaceutical-based allopathic drugs that he can sell, and now they own the world. Pharmaceutical companies own the world. They don't want you to know about vitamins. They don't want you to know about minerals. They don't want you to know about nutraceuticals. They don't want you to know about fasting. They don't want you to know about raw foods, detoxification. They don't want you to know about the power of sunlight against viruses. Or even heat, infrared heat. I'll go over that. That's why I'm taking a hot ass bath every day. Not that I'm worried, but I'm just saying, I'm just taking a hot bath because there is no, I don't get to go to hot yoga, which will keep viruses low. And the sun will keep viruses from being able to proliferate because the sun keeps the tissues healthy. So we'll move on to vaccines, seizures, brain damage, and death. That is learntherisk.org. Why we don't vaccinate, another documentary. Lethal injection, the true story of vaccines. Vaccines is my area of like, F you punks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even trying to have it. It is the biggest sick racket. And now that there's zero accountability, they're focused more, Bill Gates investing heavily in the pharmaceutical companies, now Mark Zuckerberg and all these other psychopaths are investing heavily in vaccines, and this whole scam to get us to take a COVID-19 vaccine, and Bill Gates and one of his companies, I can't remember the name of it, but he wants to have the injection have a signature that says this person's been vaccinated against COVID-19 and have some kind of microchip that will indicate that you've been inoculated against this pandemic, and now you can travel on planes, now you can get your license, and now you can go grocery shopping and buy foods. But if you don't get that, you don't get to have those rights. That's quite a moneymaker for these guys. They are businessmen. Don't get it wrong. They are not philanthropists, and they're probably, cultured from their birth. Bill Gates isn't that smart. He's an idiot, really. He's not very intelligent at all. He may be an intellectual and a nerd and bred from the ground up to hold a position in the puppet show here, which is a likelihood. Same thing with Zuckerberg. They're not really that smart, They're really not that intelligent. So they don't understand. I mean, Bill Gates eats at McDonald's. If you eat at McDonald's, you're not that smart. But he's got the best medical care and all that stuff that we'll never get a chance to have. And he has knowledge. They have access to doctors and stuff. I mean, dude, David Rockefeller had 7 heart transplants before he died at 103. Okay, so 7 heart transplants and then all the drugs that they need, but he kept them alive, 103 years old. Wow, that's insane, right? So they've got access, and that the public is never going to have these things because get rid of them. Chemotherapy, radiation, bam, another one bites the dust. Where if you went home and avoided chemotherapy and radiation and didn't change a damn thing, you'd probably live another at least 5 years, 10, 20 years. You'd live if you didn't do anything. If you go in there, you're lucky to live another year with their chemotherapy and radiation, much less make it to 5. Lethal injection, the true story of vaccines. Another documentary, vaccines are unsafe. True vaccine information, vaccines and disease, aspx.com. Population control, depopulation, another, video there. Quest for the cures, another video that was done by too many vaccines for me. It was Ty Bollinger. He did the quest. His whole family died of cancer. He's like, what the hell's going on here? So he did that documentary, and then to follow up the quest for the cancer, or the truth about cancer, he followed up with I think it's on Netflix. No, it's on Amazon, and that was he followed it up on Amazon with another documentary called Quest for the Cures #1, and then there's Quest for the Cures #2, which I don't have on here, but you can find that if you're really interested. And then he lays out a whole bunch of suppressed cancer cures. Here's the end of the world wake-up call. That is from Dane Wigington, who runs geoengineering.com. He's trying to sound the alarm. He's a bit of an alarmist, but then again, it's like this, it really is actually happening. They're spraying the world. We're killing everything. He's just trying to say, and he points out, he's very, very smart. He's been in this game a long time, and he's been studying this information for decades. you know, and they've been spraying out the back of biplanes since the 1940s, okay? So none of this stuff is new. It's just all been suppressed. And now with the internet, it was almost about to break through to the masses, but they're just covering every crack in the dam through all this suppression. They're doing a great job, you know. And now they've got the AI. I mean, you within minutes, the title of your video is locked on, and it's like, nope, demonetized. And you're like, wow, I didn't even post this thing yet, and they've already demonetized it. So they've got it on lock now. The End of the World Wake Up Call, Dane Wigington. I like to listen to his stuff. You know, he's real smart. Like, hey, we really got to wake up. This is impossible. We are on a trajectory of total systems failure. And he's trying to get people to wake up. I'm just more like this little tiny dude who has this little tiny channel. I'm walking on eggshells because if I get shut down, you know, like I'm not afraid. It's just that I got to be smart because this is my bread and butter. I'm just keeping a roof over my head. And that's why I want to thank the Elite Video Club. Y'all are putting a roof over my head, guaranteed, because everything else, the website, the YouTube views, the subscriptions, the unique visitors to my website, down to nothing. And I was like, oh, wow. What am I going to do? My girlfriend was like, yo, I started this Patreon. You need to do one too. And it took me several months to get around to doing it. You know, and now that I'm doing it, it's like, okay, this is working out quite well, and I really appreciate you being here. So I hope that this is cool and you're digging it. You know, the End of the World Wake Up Call, Dane Wigington. Check out genuenengineering.org. This stuff's going to be cool. It's going to keep you busy until the next masterclass next month. The Truth About Cancer, a Quest for the Cures, a true history of chemo and the pharmaceutical monopoly. I mean, it's just sick what they're doing. They're killing people. Now we've got the truth about the coronavirus. These are just a couple of videos that I added just now because I had this outline for like the last year. I was going to do this over on the website and then sell this as a $39 product with my partner Ricky, but it's just easier to do it here. The truth about coronavirus and more coronavirus truth. And you're going to get enough information out of these two that's going to set you on a track of wanting to dig deeper into this thing. You know what I'm saying? Word. So that is those there. So that's going to keep you busy because many of those are 2-hour, 4-hour documentaries. So that's going to keep you busy there. So sick by design, healthy by nature, and then here's the teaching part of the class. So obviously raw foods. Raw foods is the medicine. People cook the food. And when you take food and you cook it and add spices and everything to it and prepare it, you know, the best food is food that doesn't need to be spiced, salted, changed, or altered. Those are survival foods. That's the meat and the cooked food portions. Those are survival foods. Those are not human, thriving, high-level foods. That's the raw, living foods that doesn't need to be altered. That's the fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, and seeds. That is where the vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and the fiber and the living water, and you've heard me say this a million times before, but the electricity, and it's the electricity that's going to allow you to just, the virus is not going to be able to break and penetrate your healthy electrical cells. So eat as much raw food and get that electricity, and go out into the sun and get that electricity, and breathe and build that electricity, and rest and get that electricity, and keep building that electricity with your diet, your thoughts, your emotions. So raw foods is, I've been prescribing that for years. That's just the best food for humans because it has everything intact. And when you heat it up, you ruin a lot of the medicinal qualities in the food that keep you radiantly healthy. So more raw foods for you. Infrared sauna. Again, if you can find that, if you have one, they're like $2,000 or whatever. But if we go down and we go to hot yoga when we're not all on lockdown, we can't go to hot yoga right now. We can't go to the gym, can't go to the sauna, at the spa, can't go anywhere, can't do anything. But in any other better times, those infrared sauna, whether that's at yoga or an infrared sauna that you buy yourself, or you just go down to the local gym and do it once a week, that's going to be a detoxification and an antiviral therapy for sure. Anti-cancer, antitoxins. Juicing. Now that is a therapy that I love because you're just saturating yourself with the vitamins that you need. And that's another thing. The juice is raw, so you're extracting these liquid vitamin tonics full of chlorophyll, full of all the vitamins, minerals, and living water, which feeds the beneficial microorganisms, feeds the blood, keeps you hydrated, and keeps your body saturated with all the elements that it needs to keep itself in a high state of health and cellular integrity. And it washes away all the buildup of the residues that is the food for the pathogens and the obstruction to the flow of the blood, the nerve, and the lymph. So we want to keep things flowing through us. Juicing, top tier. The daily juicing habit is amazing. Green juice, fruit juice, it's all good. You know, right now, ginger and turmeric with orange juice. That's the flu shot. Add some iodine. I'll talk about that in a minute. Massage. Oh man, can't get any massages right now because we're on lockdown. So that sucks because I love to get like a massage a week. You know what I mean? Because it's a very powerful therapy for your immune system, your lymphatic system, and your nervous system. So massage will keep you healthy. And you can trade massage with your husband, little foot massage, lay back 15 minutes. Doesn't have to be professional, but even human touch itself is highly medicinal. At times like this, when we got sickness by design, but healthy by nature, when we're like in a cuddle zone, the cuddle puddle, it's like, oh, you know, your whole system just chills. I'm gonna sit back a little bit here, chill out. Hope you don't mind. I'm trying to, you don't mind because you already told me in so many messages, chill out. It's all good, Dan, relax, be yourself. Thank you, praise the Lord. So massage, fasting. Now I'm gonna put together a full program on this and knock that one out of the park. So that's coming soon in the next couple of months. But this one I wanna do right because I'm gonna promote this one too on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and stuff too, this little program here. Just to get everybody that's like a whole, my job was to get all that information and make it available to you. DTM approved information that will keep you busy for at least a month, if not 3, 4, 5, or 6 months, you know, watching those documentaries and stuff with your wife or your kids or whatever, or just by yourself. So when the fasting is the ultimate, whether that's 24 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours, immune booster. Can you dig it? But then real fasting starts about day 4 or 5. And then a true fast is of only water is about 7 days. The 7th day is sanctified. So the 7th day, the 14th day, the 21st day, the 28th day, the 35th day, those are the sanctified days according to, you know, the masters. So a 7-day fast can work miracles. And when you take 7 days or 3 days or 12 days, you can really make some huge quantum leaps, but you have to be smart. So I'm going to provide a ton of information, but just research fasting, start. That's the thing you want to know and learn. Arnold Ehret, Paul Bragg, Herbert Shelton, 3 of my favorite writers. And when I put that program together, I'll get probably 12 or 15 of my favorite fasting books together and give that information when I put that program together for the Elite Video Club. That's going to be the miraculous healing power of fasting for physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual regeneration, which I've been working on for probably about a year or 2, about the same time I started to develop this program, which is just me rapping, really is what it is. It's not like it was when I was with Ricky and it was all had the fancy stuff, everything like that. This is just me rapping and giving you the ideas and going over these things here that you can do, just seeds, you know, and information and knowledge. And then I can specifically go into these at a later date as we continue to develop our relationship here on the Elite Video Club. So learn about fasting, have faith in it, and practice it. 24 hours, then 36. When you get maybe 36 a couple times, like, okay, that's how that is. Don't stand up too fast. That's the only thing you really need to know is don't stand up too fast because you'll get lightheaded. And, you know, just drink a little bit of water, but just rest. The more you rest, the more physiological rest you get, the more the innate intelligence can go through, clean up house, purify your blood, rest the nervous system, rest the brain, rest the blood flow, cleaning the blood, which starts removing the obstructions. Then you have better blood flow, better circulation, and you have more energy. Can you dig it? Next is colonics. Colonics. Another great way just to hydrate the colon, remove massive amounts of stagnant buildup. People are chronically constipated. We're not just talking about constipation in the gastrointestinal tract, but we're talking about full body constipation. We're talking about blood vessels and veins being constipated with metabolic residue of all different types. It used to be just too much fat and too much fried foods and too much bread, and now it's that coupled with massive amounts of synthetic chemicals that are swimming in that we're just swimming in a sea of that. So the colonics are very beneficial. I highly recommend it. As a therapy, you can go in and get like a couple colonics every week for 6 to 8 colonics, so take a few weeks and get 6 or 8 in a row, and you'll be amazed at how well you absorb and eliminate after that. Now that's just, you don't want to rely on that. You want to rely more on the living fiber and the juices and maybe some herbs like the cleanse to keep your gastrointestinal tract nice and clean year round. But if it's for therapeutic reasons, for anytime during cancer, anytime during chronic diseases, anytime during these pandemics or whatever, it's great to keep your colon flush. Now, you don't want to become a colonics addict. It's part of a therapy for like a detoxification protocol. Let's say you're doing a 21-day juice fast and you want to do a couple of colonics each week to go along with that. It would be a brilliant plan. You'll get a major boost, and then you chill out, and then you keep feeding the beneficial microorganisms with herbs, plant foods, etc. that have the fiber intact. Especially the raw fiber is the best, and science will prove this out one day soon. Breath work, especially right now. Breath work is really you want to know what the best breath work is? It's just hiking, cycling, walking. Breath work traditionally may really be more of a meditation, where certain personality types can sit for 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour practicing breath retention, counting, and it's really more of a meditation, which brings you again back to the self, which reminds me, we will go into the spirituality. That's what I'm looking forward to. I got a lot of messages about that, and I'll say it like, and I have my little blinders on and my little muters, but it's like, I will say, I love God to the Elite Video Club. I don't say that much on the YouTube and stuff, but I love God. And I'm not talking about some weirdo up in the sky who's got psychological issues. I'm talking about the living presence of the divine light, of all that is good, holy, pure, divine, harmonized, and beautiful. Can you understand what I mean? It's like the infinite field that's just there, that's just the effulgence of a radiance of awesomeness that once experienced transforms one for forever. So we'll do that as a program next. And that'll just be me. I'm not saying I'm an illuminated sage. I get my information, I follow them, I saturate myself with that information day in and day out. I look at this stuff too because that's my job. But at the end of the day, I am a yogi who loves Christ. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little confusing for people, but it isn't confusing for me in the slightest. I'm very clear about it. And it's my own personal journey to, practice yoga, the asanas or the postures, which is just a health thing, so that I can meditate every morning, so that I can become, centered, focused, and become more in conscious contact with the inner divinity. Hey, thanks for letting me just lay back and enjoy this, video with you here. Breath work. So breath work, and the best breath work, like I said, is hiking. Hiking up the side of a mountain. You don't need to really sit at home, which I love to do, and I do it all the time. I do all kinds of breath work in different yoga classes. I do it at home. I do it out in nature. I'm not religious about the practice in any way, shape, or form. My favorite kind of breath work is just being out on the bike, walking on the trail, and just breathing, and hiking up those hills, or even running is a great breath work. Get that oxygen in you. In fact, when I'm done with this video, I'm going to go outside and get some oxygen. Cold water therapy, which I love. Right now, hot water therapy is great because that has antiviral properties to it. The cold water therapy is just good for the brain, good for the nervous system, and it's anti-inflammatory. So, get in the cold water for as long as you can, as much as you can. The hot and cold therapy is the best ever, because that's like physical training, mental training, but it also works the cardiovascular system, it works the lymphatic system, it works the nervous system to go from the hot to the cold, to the cold, to the hot, to the hot, to the cold. And you take each one as far as you can, and then when you're out and about, a 92-degree day is not that hot because you have been practicing in the hot bathtub or the infrared or the sauna or the steam room, and you can handle like an hour in the steam room where you're only supposed to do 15 minutes. You work yourself up to an hour, you're sweating like a beast, but your system is able to handle it because you trained yourself. And the cold water therapy is amazing. I do it every day. Go to the river every single day. Did it today, boom. I'm gonna go ride my bike and go do it again right now. And this is kind of random, so there's no order, but I put silica in here for the detoxification of aluminum. I have just silica. There's a lot of great products on the market. I've tried several of them. I like them all. I don't have a specific, but I do like using silica to detoxify aluminum. So you can get that in droplets. You can get that in these liquid formulas. I don't even think I'm going to put a link down below because I've used all the ones that I've ordered that had good reviews on Amazon. They all worked very well. And I'll put those in a lemon ginger blast or a green juice to, just detoxify and enhance the effects of the green juice because silica binds to aluminum and pulls it out of the body. So vitamins and minerals, that was one of the things that I added today just because I know that right now with the COVID-19 pandemic, we want to have strong immunity, and that's going to come from the vitamins and minerals in raw foods and nutraceuticals. But the fresh, organic raw foods is the best. That's where you're going to get the highest amount of vitamin C. There's other vitamin C supplements, vitamin D from the sun, vitamin E from almonds and avocados, and the Life Essentials is also concentrated vitamin E from raw rice bran. And, vitamin D from the sun, and vitamin B, all the different B vitamins from raw foods, but the B vitamins, when they're cooked, they get killed. The vast majority, the vast percentage of these water-soluble vitamins and minerals are destroyed by heat. That's a huge thing with the raw food thing. So the juicing, the raw foods, the fruits, the salads, the smoothies, and then just that presence of those minerals, the presence of those vitamins to keep you healthy. That's why this whole processed food thing, processed food people are going to be food. You know what I'm saying? It's not good. So we're trying to keep it real on the whole foods. You want to steam up your stuff a little bit here every once in a while. It's not going to kill you, but you want to eat as much of your foods fresh and unaltered, like delicious fruits, delicious simple salads with delicious simple dressings, And for the Elite Video Club, I will do recipes and stuff. I'll go over there and we'll do different classes, things that I've done before, but I'll just keep repeating it over and over again. I've learned a lot, and I'll make videos for you guys over here, right here, and I'll just do recipes and simple dressings and stuff like that. Can you dig it? Because I appreciate you more than you'll ever know, and by the looks of it, y'all appreciate me. Now that's a relationship we can live with. It's all about the love. That's what we need right here is love and knowledge. And, so knowledge, word. Now check this out. Vitamins and minerals, that moves into the iodine. If you want to know what vitamin and mineral you want to have right now, is iodine is pretty low in a lot of the soils around the country. Iodine supplement is really good right now to add that to your green juices. So get a nano iodine. And there's a lot of great products, again, that are really, really good, and they're all using similar technologies to get the super usable iodine, which again is antiviral, but it also makes sure that the thyroid is functioning optimally. There's also, like, I got a whole bunch of bags of dulse. Dulse is great on a salad, and that's loaded with minerals, loaded with dulse. Loaded with iodine. So that dulse, which is a seaweed, is a really good addition and supplement. Now, I don't use it all the time, but every once in a while, when my body calls for it, because I have to, 20 years, the intuition is like there. It's like, this is what we need, homie. And I'll scarf a half a bag of, dulse. And I'm just like, then my body's like, cool, man. And it just saturates and it utilizes and it recycles. That's the beauty of fasting. You clean out all the toxins, the divine intelligence gets rid of the junk, but recirculates all of the buildup of your vitamins and minerals and healthy fats and healthy elements in the body, in the tissues. The sludge and the slime and the filth and the toxins that are not beneficial to life, the divine intelligence knows it gets it right out there. And it reuses, the liver will reuse everything that it can, and it will refine your tissues while you're fasting and detoxifying. You might get a little thin, but then when you go to eat again super healthy, wholesome foods, you'll have a reset system. Now, it takes a little more than 3 days to really reset the system, but you'll get the immune boost from 72 hours of water fasting. You'll get the just a nice little refresher of the appetite. Like if your appetite is way off, you can take 24 to 36 hours and reset that bad boy, and then you'll be like, okay. Because the more you eat, the faster, the fancier, the more, the bigger, and then next thing you know, you're like spicing it up, salting it up, it's all fancy. I gotta have this just to stimulate your mind to get through the stress of the COVID pandemic, hysteria. And then you're like, yo, man, I'm way out of whack. I got too much spices, too much food, too much, using food right now as a crutch. I gotta stop. I'm taking 36 hours, and then you reset your apostat in a minor way. Then when you eat an orange, you're like, now this is all right. When you eat a couple bananas, you're like, that was an awesome meal and very satisfying. I'm gonna be truly, fully satisfied with a real clean, raw diet. It's gonna take about maybe 21 days of fasting to totally reset the gut microbiome and the brain and the nerves around food. So keep that in mind, and we'll go deeper into that when I come with the Miraculous Healing Power of Fasting program for the Elite Video Club. Can you dig it, baby? Iodine. So get some iodine right now, especially during the time of this pandemic. Put a couple drops in your juice. Good to go, baby. Mineral supplements, also a good thing at any time. Our food supply sucks. In general, I'm blessed. Some of us have better farmers. Some of us grow our own food. We've got better situations than others. Some of us are stuck in podunk, middle of nowhere. We're getting the basic organic stuff grown in soil that hasn't really had a chance for the soil to really be replenished by the farmers and stuff in a deep, way. So a mineral supplementation is really good at any time to keep yourself healthy by nature. Again, I've used many. I love them all. I don't really have anything specific, but what I do is I'll go on the I'll go on the Amazon, I'll look at the ratings, and I'll be like, yo, this is legit. If it's down there like 3.5 stars, I'm looking for 4 stars and up. I do that with like films. They're not always right. Sometimes I'll watch a 3-star and be like, that was actually a good movie. But I could go 4-star and up. That's how I do it on Amazon too, you know? And so I believe that, you know, I go to 4-star and up, and I'm like, yo, check this out. But what I will do is I will, for the Elite Video Club, maybe as a bonus, but I don't want to get, you know, I want to keep it to where it's like, it's a real balanced relationship here. So I don't want to give, well, I don't want to seem like a jerk or anything like that. It's like, I was grinding on the YouTube every day for years, and I don't want to do that anymore. And then when I had the Regeneration Nation, it was like more. And it's like, please guys, love me. I'm just chilling. The world's going insane. I'm working on this dude hardcore. And so I want to take more time. That's the beauty of what I see, is I can kind of slow down from the grind of social media, which isn't that real to me. It's a great platform. It's how we connected, but it's a little fakey. And with all the suppression and stuff, it's really starting to be like irritating. It's like, what can I say? What can I not say? So this looks like, hey, we got the Elite Video Club. It's cool. I'm gonna bust my butt off camera, working on myself, continually coming up with new knowledge and doing a lot of research and working on myself. That's where I get the most amount of my experiences with, you know, just working with this guy, you know, with all this stuff. And so that's where all these references and stuff comes from, you know, is my own experiences. So, but that being said, I could see myself, especially at this time of the pandemic, and I know you're going to say yes to this, but could just go through the supplements that I have, the food that I've got, and I'll do that as a bonus. But what I really want to do is take some time while this lockdown is going on and really lock myself down and really chill out and really spend some time with myself. So it's a really beautiful time to chill out and relax, you know, and I want to do some relaxation myself right now, and some fasting and some quiet time. So I've got all this stuff, and I've got all these supplements too. So I'll see what happens with that spontaneously. If I feel like busting out a bonus video and stuff, I can go through all this stuff, you know, like I even have oatmeal and stuff, because I kind of freaked out. It's like the end of the world, you know, supply lines and stuff, but I don't think they want the supply lines and everything. I don't think they want the economy to die. That's part of how they control us. But they just want to get their agenda met, you know what I'm saying, with the vaccine, mandatory vaccines, and the transformation of the money system, and pushing the 5G thing. So this pandemic is a great opportunity for them to move their agenda forward, you know, which is not for the benefit of you nor I. Can you dig it? So mineral supplements is great at this time. Fulvic minerals dripped into your juice. Again, those are going to have iodine too, but it's just nice to have a little extra iodine right now for thyroid function and antiviral purposes. So that's why, you know, usually one mineral supplement will have everything in it that you need if you get a super high quality one. So do your little bit of research on the Amazon, and I'll show you. I've got several in the cupboard, and I like them all, and I switch it up. So I'll bust those out and maybe do that for this month's bonus video for April. I'm going to call this one the masterclass for April. Spirulina. The best spirulina is from Mike Adams' Health Ranger store, because he tests it all. That's what we use. I got a big box of it right here behind me, as a matter of fact. 2 big bundles of spirulina powder and chlorella in these great giant cans. So it's pretty awesome. And it's been tested for, obviously, everything. Heavy metals, bacteria, and pesticides. So that's why I like to get everything I can from Mike Adams Natural News. I will put a link down below this video for that. And if you want to go get some spirulina, you can use my link to do that. And you know what? I will put a couple of links below this video for some of the ones that I really love, for some of the mineral supplements that I love, because not that I favor them any more than something else that might be out there, but just what I'm using. Just FYI, I will share with you some of the stuff that I'm using. So the spirulina is from the Health Ranger store, and that is just the spirulina and the chlorella. Both are just, they're food, they're medicine, they're great for antiviral, they're great for the brain, they're great for everything. So a chlorella is a heavy metal detoxifier. The spirulina is just food. It's bodybuilding food, phycocyanins for the brain, and all the antiviral properties, and massive amounts of chlorophyll, massive amounts of protein, iodine, minerals. Spirulina is really, really awesome, and I love it. So have some of that around, especially during the end of the world time, you know, because who knows how long they're gonna play this game, you know, and how long we're gonna be on lockdown. Nano Silver, antibacterial, antiviral. So that's a good thing to have right now too, on hand, all the time, really, as a medicine, just in the cupboard, sitting there, just in case, like if somebody does get the virus or the flu, you blast them with the silver, the Nano Silver, and bam, you clear that stuff out, because the silver is antiviral and is very protective and has been used in medicine throughout history. But then, of course, the pharmaceutical cartel doesn't want you to have anything. They don't want you to have this video. So that's my job, is to do this, to say, F you pharmaceutical companies, we're gonna do this anyways. My people are gonna get the knowledge they need to be healthy and stay healthy. Can you dig it, baby? Because that's what we're here to do. So get yourself some Nano Silver. I'll put a couple brands down below that I've used. Microwave foods. I don't even know why I put that. It's like, all I gotta say is one thing. Screw the microwave. Toss it out. Throw it in the dumpster. Give it to the neighbor that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? You don't even want to hurt your own enemy with microwave food. Toss it out. Goodbye. No more microwaves. That's how you stay healthy by nature. You know, it's one thing to like steam up some vegetables and have that as comfort food. Can you dig it? It's another thing to be microwaving anything. Okay? Plastic packaging and hormone functioning. This is the last part of it. That's why as much of your food as you can get straight from the farmer, or an orange just sitting there without plastic packaging, bananas without plastic packaging. I mean, I know that, you know, the grapes sit in the plastic and that's not wonderful, but I'm talking about a lot of these foods that are processed and meant to be in the packaging for a long time, and the packaging off-gassing these hormone disrupting chemicals. So as much as I've said it a million times, it doesn't hurt to say it again, because I know it takes time to really get this, for this to sink in. But if you can avoid as much as possible, you know, foods that are processed and in packages. Now I got my almonds and I got all this goddamn food and stuff, so I can dig it. And I'm talking more like, you know, more of the processed canned foods, more of the processed foods and liquids, really, that are in plastic. So I'm all about glass water. I'm all about like avoiding as much as possible, and making as much of your food at home, as much of your juices at home. Grab the bundle of kale, which has never seen plastic, and, you know, you put that in the shopping basket and try to avoid as much contact with plastic as you can, and especially the processed foods in plastic, because you're going to have a lot of preservatives and stuff that are also going to be anti-fertility chemicals. And so that is, my friends, the end of the list. Today we just went over some basic stuff, but I guess really the beauty, and I don't think any of that was anything that you haven't seen before, but I will copy and paste this whole thing, and what I'll do is I will add links below all of these suggestions and all of this material that we went over, just very briefly. And you can feel free to ask questions below this video. There is Patreon Messenger, which I'm getting more comfortable with, but then there's just commenting below these videos as well, which is more of my comfort zone. So you can like the video, that'll help me, to see how many of you are watching it. You can comment on the video as well so that I'm aware of your presence and I can get a gauge of what kind of engagement that we have here on the Patreon. I want to be able to understand this more than anything else with the YouTube and stuff. That's a little less, but you guys are, my people, and that really matters to me. I'm going to do my best job here while maintaining my mental sovereignty and my disciplines and my focus. This whole thing threw me off. I've been out of whack, to tell you the truth. This whole thing has thrown me off for just mentally and psychologically. Like, what in the hell? Usually I have a good handle on things, but I'm just like, wow, this one is really, they're doing a great job. I mean, they shut down the world. Wow. And the numbers are not adding up. And when you watch, I would go right to the COVID-19 documentaries. And there's a video, an hour-and-a-half video of this really awesome doctor. Once you get introduced to him, you're going to have plenty of, once you get introduced to him through this link, that is going to be the lowest one down there on the COVID-19 coronavirus truth. You're going to be introduced to Dr. Ravi or Shavi. I can't remember exactly what it is, but he is, in my opinion, a genius. You're going to be introduced to him. You're going to be introduced to Dane. Oh, and I forgot to mention Del Bigtree at the High Wire for the vaccines. He's in here somewhere. I'm going to add that right now. Let me add this here. Del Bigtree at the Live Wire or High Wire. I think it's the High Wire. And I'm just going to add that because I want you to have that channel. They're suppressing that, but he is on point. These dudes are way on point, way more on point than I am in so many ways, but they have production crews and stuff. If I had a production crew, we'd probably be able to make this look all fancy and I'd have the whole thing behind me and all this stuff. But, it's just between you and me, and I don't want to invest in all that. That's not my thing. My thing is researching and development. Developing this guy is my strong suit and what's really important. So I'm doing the research, and these guys have really awesome shows, and they've really got their production crews and stuff like that. So the content is fancier and more absorbable, I guess, for the more modern consumer. But I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and you're going to get a ton of great stuff. Let me know how you get on with these documentaries and stuff, which ones you like, which ones you don't. I'm sure you're going to really enjoy them all. And I'll take the feedback either in the messages or just down below in the comments section. I think I would prefer the comments section because I'm just used to it. But whatever, I feel like the Patreon messaging is pretty simple too. I mean, I don't have to be a brilliant genius to figure that out. So thank you so much for just taking the time to, check this out. And I hope that I was just more of a guide today for you, to guide you to some new areas of information that you haven't been exposed to yet, some new ideas. I really want to do my best to bring value to your life, particularly since you bring great value to mine by keeping a roof over my head. So, thank you. God bless. Let me know
what I can do to be of service. So we've got spirituality coming. We've got supplements coming, recipes coming here. We've got the fasting coming. That one I'm going to really make sure that I'm super on point, and that I've got that all laid out and all the details, because that's another thing that I've got here, and all the things I want to go over about fasting. And I think I have way more knowledge than just about anybody else out there, except maybe Lauren Lockman on fasting. Again, okay, so go check out Lauren Lockman. I'll write that down here too, because I don't agree with him on everything, you know what I'm saying? Whoever does. But he is also an expert on fasting. And Tanglewood Wellness Center is a really good. I went there for my first 7-day fast. That was probably, I don't know, 10 years ago or more. Probably before that, actually, before I even started YouTube. So maybe 13 or 14 years ago was my first 7-day fast with Lauren Lockman. And, it was cool. It was cool. That was where I learned about passing out. When I stood up too fast, I passed out and knocked my head on the table. And Lauren Lockman came running on, oh my God, my business is going to be ruined, for liability purposes. But I was fine, and I learned very quickly not to stand up too fast when you are water only fasting. So I'll try to add anything else that I can. This is going to give you tons to go over. So enjoy this information. And I just can't thank you enough. I don't want to take any more of your time right now, but just thank you, I'm going to do my best here. And thank you for just accepting me the way I am and letting me do my thing, and all your love and support over the years. Because I know that you are my hardcore. Because all of you that are here now, you signed up right away. It's like, DTM, I'm on it. Boom, cool. So thank you, and have a great day. And take care of yourselves, and just build your immune system. Clean yourself out, build your immune system, and don't sweat this craziness. Just build yourself up with everything we went over here, and just everything. Get healthy and stay healthy. And then none of this stuff can even touch you. You are bulletproof. Can you dig it? Think that. Know that. And stay tapped into that infinite intelligence, and go with your gut instincts, and use whatever tools I mentioned today and more. And let me know what it is that I missed that you're doing that I didn't mention here, And I'll look into it if there's anything that I overlooked, So, 90-minute masterclass, DTM. Sick by design, healthy by nature. Your true nature is health. That's what's in us. It's always fighting, and it's not even fighting. It's just working on our behalf right there. If we just get out of the way and let the intelligence do what it does best, then we are going to come out on top of this thing. No problem. We're going to live a long, healthy life, and we're going to just be consciously choosing when we want to exit out of here peacefully, So let's take care of ourselves and be well, and peace be with you. Thank you. Aloha.